Today is the third-year anniversary of the passing of Her Majesty the late Queen, and this video I want to go through the September 2022 Walkabout. This was the first time in years that Harry, William, Catherine, and Meghan were seen together, and tensions were high. A recent Daily Mail article includes Judi James's assessment of these moments, and as usual, I disagree with what she has to say. So let's go through this article. We'll talk about boundary setting and the strength and resilience that Catherine, Princess of Wales, displayed, and let's look at the evidence. But before we begin, here's the intro. Welcome to Revealing the Narc. Join me as I highlight narcissistic traits in celebrities and public figures. Everything here is in my opinion and not professional advice. If you enjoy the analysis, please like and subscribe. Let's jump right into this article. It's titled, Expert Reveals the Moment William Acted as a Buffer Between Catherine and Meghan. And I want to say, if you're an expert, you know her name is Catherine. The article begins in the 3 years since the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. The rift between the Sussexes and the firm has only intensified with the publication of Harry's explosive memoir and his high-profile security battle. But in the aftermath of the death of their beloved grandmother, Princes William and Harry put up a united front to meet mourners outside Windsor Castle with their wives. Let's pause here for a second and remember where we are in time. This walkabout was in September 2022. The Oprah interview came out in March of 2021. Prince Philip passed away in April of 2021. Harry and Meghan's daughter was born on June 4th, 2021. The Platinum Jubilee took place in June 2022, and the Netflix mockumentary was released approximately 3 months after this event. So you can see that there is cause for there to be distance between William and Catherine and the Sussexes. A lot of things have already happened. One thing I forgot to mention is that Omid Scobie and Carolyn Duran's book, Finding Freedom, was released in hardcover in August 2020, and then this was followed by the paperback edition, which was published in August 2021, and it added the Oprah interview and Prince Philip's passing. Let's continue. The awkwardness of the encounter was so great that Princess Catherine found it one of the hardest things she'd ever had to do, according to a book. This is where Catherine's resiliency really comes through. To have so many hurtful things said about you, your family, the bullying of your daughter, allegedly, but to recognize that your role and your responsibility and your duty is to your country, to be able to stand next to someone who has been so cruel and vindictive and envious, this is truly Catherine's grace. The article continues and says, body language expert Judi James told the Daily Mail the tone was set the minute Catherine's car pulled up alongside William's. It appeared the brothers had shared one car and their wives the other. If this was intended as an icebreaker for the two women, it appeared not to have worked, as Catherine jumped quickly from the car to walk across to stand with her husband without waiting for Meghan or even throwing her a backwards glance. Let's pause here. What responsibility or obligation does Catherine have to look behind her to see if Meghan is there? She doesn't. What I see a lot in this walkabout is Catherine showing her boundaries, showing how much she values herself, that she doesn't need to be anything other than courteous to someone who won't even reciprocate that. Despite everything Meghan has done, the public attacks, the cruel digs, Catherine showed strength and dignity during this walkabout. She fulfilled her duty with grace, but she also made one thing clear. Boundaries exist. Just because someone is family doesn't mean you have to tolerate their bad behavior. You can coexist, share the same space, even stand under the same roof, but coexistence is not the same as acceptance. Catherine demonstrated that you can rise above, fulfill your role, and still send a quiet message. You don't get to treat me poorly and expect my approval. This is such an example for so many of us to learn, because there's always this obligation to forgive and forget and move on, in this person's family, and you're going to have to see them. Well, okay, that's okay that you have to see them, but I'm not going to trample on my feelings, my emotions, my dignity just because someone is a relative. The article continues and says it was left to William to chat to Harry and to usher Meghan to join them in their group. Footage from the occasion seems to show Harry having to pull his wife back with his arm and slow down his walking pace so that she didn't pull ahead of his older brother. We'll watch clips of all of this in just a moment, and I agree with part of this assessment. Well, actually, these two lines I do agree with. Harry was consistently pulling Meghan back so Meghan wouldn't jump ahead, and William seemed to be the one reaching out to Harry the whole time to try to show that there's some conversation happening between all of them. So I think William also demonstrated a lot of grace here. He didn't ignore Harry, but he put on this public face that there are still conversations between them to make it look more natural as they're doing the walkabout. The article continues. Judi said once the Queen died and Catherine's own status and role in the firm had been elevated, her body language during this public outing seemed to suggest she would be making her own decisions now, dealing with Harry and Meghan with a silently cool and unflinching firmness that the late Queen might just have admired. While William, Harry, and Meghan's body language rituals at this surprise joint appearance showed signs of dithering, awkwardness, and redirection, Catherine is seen striding out by herself with her chin raised in a gesture of strong resolve. Oh, Judi, I don't agree with what you're saying here. Catherine is not behaving this way because her status and role has been elevated. Catherine is behaving this way because she has been trampled on, bullied. Her child has had to experience the wrath of Meghan. This is where Catherine's actions are coming from. When have we ever seen Catherine behave this way? And that's something important to consider when you're dealing with people. When you see someone behaving uncharacteristically with someone else, there's a reason why. Another thing I want to mention is that I don't notice that William appeared awkward, but Harry and Meghan definitely looked awkward. Harry and Meghan's awkwardness during this walkabout, in my opinion, is not about shame. I don't think they're capable of feeling shame. It was about tension. They were walking side by side with the very people they'd criticized under the world's gaze with no control over the narrative or the optics. And that loss of control, not guilt, is what made the moment so visibly uncomfortable. The article continues. She's not only separates herself from the group here in an act of what looks suspiciously like dissociation bordering on public rejection, but she separates herself from her husband, who is now the one left to act in the role of mediator. She added, as the four royals set off to see the tributes and greet the crowds, the spatial gap that Catherine creates between herself and others forms an emphatic nonverbal tell of a lack of any desire to step out on stage for yet another performance of fake unity. This is all I'm going to show you from this article. You can see where this is going. This has turned into making it seem like Catherine is the one making the wrong moves when it's Catherine that really demonstrated grace and resilience. It's Catherine's daughter that was bullied by Meghan. It's Catherine that was made to cry, and Meghan went on Oprah telling the lie that the opposite had happened. Catherine has not once defended herself against the claims that Meghan has made, and still Meghan keeps firing and firing and firing. The display of any warmth from Catherine towards Meghan sends the message that it's okay. It's okay that I would be treated this way. It's okay that you bully my child. It's okay that you tell lies about me, my family, my husband. It's okay to take pictures of my child sleeping allegedly. And the fact is, that is not okay. I think this is the message that so many of us get when we're involved in toxic family dynamics. Because falling out with family is seen as not the norm, it's not accepted, it's not what people expect you to do. So when it does happen, you have to ask yourself, why? I really admire the partnership between William and Catherine here too, because William knew he had to act as the buffer. He only communicated with Harry, and he made sure that Catherine was as far from Meghan as possible. So let's get into it and watch a couple of clips. So this is the moment that they arrive, and actually they were all in the same car, it seems. According to Judi James, Meghan and Catherine were in the same car. Let's actually watch that one more time. Yeah, they all seem to be coming out of the same car. Meghan seems to hesitate. Again, she's not comfortable being there, and I don't think it's because of shame. Catherine steps in. William is not pointing towards Meghan joining them at this moment. He's saying, let's go on and walk, in my opinion. You can see the distance Meghan is from the group. She's standing far away from everyone. And at this point, Harry walks over to Meghan. Meghan is doing that uncomfortable thing with her hair. Catherine stands firm and tall and strong, just exhibiting so much grace. Now they start walking towards the crowd. Catherine and Meghan are as far away from each other as possible, which I think is completely appropriate. This is the moment that Meghan seems to try to be getting ahead of the group, but William speeds up to make sure that that doesn't happen. Here's that same moment from a different angle. William points at some flowers, and I noticed a lot that Meghan was very eager to be somehow in communication with William. Look how she looks up at him here. She mirrors him a lot. She tries to stand close to him as often as possible. When William moves away, Meghan moves towards him. The order in which they're standing has changed now. Look, when William bends down, Meghan immediately does so also. Many people said that this was so that she could be in the same pictures with William. Here you see Meghan is now telling Harry, okay, you need to stand in the middle. You've grieved enough. Truly awful behavior. See again, it's William that's communicating and talking to Harry. And here again, as they walk towards the crowd, William is the one that talks to Harry. This is the moment that everyone talks about where Meghan tells the aide that she wants to hold the flowers. I wish I could hear the audio. And I need to look more into this moment because I'm not sure that I really noticed the bullying that so many people say. Her expression is definitely fake and over exaggerated and dismissive. And she does do this, like, submissive knee bend, but what I need to do is find a clip where I can hear the audio. And we're gonna end with this moment. I don't know how Meghan ended up on the same side as William, because throughout that entire walkabout, Harry and Meghan were on one side while William and Catherine were on another. So I'm curious to know what you all think about this. Please drop your thoughts in the comments. If this was interesting to you, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll know every time I drop a new video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you're looking for a meaningful way to support something beyond the screen, I'd love for you to consider making a donation to the National Domestic Violence Hotline in lieu of super chats and super stickers. They provide 24/7 support and resources for people in unsafe or overwhelming situations, whether that's emotional, physical, or just hard to name. Their information is on the screen should you need to contact them, and you'll find the link to donate in the description of this video. Every little bit helps, and it means a lot. Thank you again for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.